my baby sitting up all nice. May 4th, 8:20 a.m. So it is Monday, May 4th, 2020, still under COVID restrictions, driving me crazy, but I'm going to definitely do my part so that this virus does not spread. So I'm going to stay away from people and wash my hands, wear my mask, do all that good stuff. So a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about sequencing on the MpcX, MPC Live, MPC Touch, MPC1. So it's early in the morning. I might as well go ahead and show you guys how to do that. Let's learn how to sequence on the MPC family of products. Bolo! Alright, as always, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys comment, and make sure you guys turn on those post notifications so you will know the next time I have another video available. And yes, it is very early in the morning, and I have not had my coffee yet, but it's all good. Don't need that much caffeine anyway. But today, I'm going to show you guys how to sequence on your MPC Live, MPC Touch, MpcX, and your MPC1, because it's basically all the same thing across the MPC Akai products. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that really quick. I'm going to whip up a quick beat real quick, and I'm going to show you guys how to sequence. Now, the thing about sequencing on these machines is it's almost best to sequence it on the actual hardware unit than to do it inside of the actual program. Now, I know you can hook everything up through the computer and everything, that's cool, but even though you still have it hooked up through the computer, it's almost maybe 90% of the time best to do it inside of the actual unit that you have. So it's best to use your fingers. Let's go ahead and whip up something real quick, and then let me show you guys how to sequence it out on the MP. All right, so as you can see right now, got the MpcX pulled up, got everything pulled up on my computer right now, and I'm going to show you guys how to sequence. But first, we're going to sequence using Splice samples. If you don't have a Splice account, you might as well go ahead and get one. It's only $7.99, and it unlocks so many different loops and one-shot samples. It is incredible. You need to go ahead and get it. I will have a link in the description for you to go ahead and get you your own Splice account. So let's go ahead and use these Splice samples, and I'm going to show you guys how I route them in and everything. And let's just make a really simple, quick beat just so I can show you guys how to use the sequencer. So I'm only use like 4 sounds. So let's see. Sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and slide that in there on the pad. Now let's get some drums. I don't really use drums from Splice like that because I have my own drums, but I do have some in here. So let's go ahead and at least get like a bass, a clap, hi-hat, and a kick. Let's put those in there. Now we got to find a bass. All right, so let's go ahead and sequence this up real quick. I'm going to chop this sample up. I'm going to make a quick beat. So let's go to samples. This is at 138. Let's go ahead and put this at 138. Let's go to edit samples. Let's go to chop. Let's chop this thing up. Sounds pretty good. The chops seem like they're somewhat on. Let's go ahead and convert that over into a new program. Convert. I do pad parameters. Show you why. Do that. And let's go ahead and change this over to that. And see what we got. Sounds cool. So now that we're in pad parameters, I'm gonna go into warp samples. Click on that. I'm gonna select all, close, and then we know that the original tempo was 138. So let's go ahead and put that on 138. And then now, whatever tempo, whatever BPM I have, so now I can play the samples and they're gonna lock into whatever tempo I have. Quick tip. All right, got that done. Now let's go ahead and add in the drums. All right, not bad. Let's go ahead and add this bass, and then we want to add a kick to layer with it. All right, sounds good. So now let's go ahead and add this kick that we have. That is a weird kick I picked, but I don't even know why I downloaded it, but I downloaded it for some reason. So yeah, let's use it. I don't know why I picked that kick. I do not like that kick. All right, I think I found a better kick. Let's swing that one in right now. Let's put that right here. See how that sounds. Now that sounds a lot better. Let's add a little something to that kick. All right, cool. So we got all that done. I'm gonna add like one more little sound in here. I'm gonna use something from my Arteria collection just to have something for like the chorus or whatever. All right, let's put something real cheesy in here. Found that, so let's just do something. All right, that's good enough. I'm over here doing a beat making video rather than showing you how to sequence. So let me show you guys how to sequence. This is going to be pretty simple how to do this. If you're from the FL Studio side of things, then you will probably get this more than if you're from like a linear type of a program like Logic or Studio One or something like that. This works similar to FL Studio, and this is where kind of FL got their pattern mode from, because MPC works in sequence mode. So don't know how old some of you guys are, but back in the day when you had to make beats in FL, you had to make them in patterns. So you'll have to make one pattern, switch it up, then duplicate the pattern, and you'll have to switch up things in that pattern. Then, you know, you have to go forth, so forth and so on with the patterns. It's the same thing inside the MPC. Instead of calling them patterns, you call them sequences. So what you do is you take your sequence, you make your intro, with whatever sounds you want in, copy and paste it. Then you make your hook. You might mute this sound or that sound, and then that's how you get to your whole song. And then you just put all your sequences into a song mode, and that's basically how it works. So you're not going to see me on camera. You're going to see just the MPC, and you're going to see the MPC software. So for the people who want to use the software, you can see what I'm doing. For the people who like to use it with using the actual controller, you'll see what I'm doing so far as in sequence mode. So let's go ahead and move the camera and get to that. All right, hope you guys can see everything, because I want to try to do this as fast as possible. So first thing that we're going to do is, this is our track right here. And that's with everything in it. This is in sequence 1. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the name of the first sequence to, let's go ahead and, not yet. Let's go ahead and change the name to intro. So we're going to change that to intro. And then what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, it's named, the sequence is named as intro on here. And you can see this actually on the side right here as well. It says intro for the first sequence. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this sequence. Now there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do it inside the MPC program, where you can go into like your edit tools and all that stuff like that and copy it, but it's way easier to do it inside of here. Does not matter if you're using the MpcX, the Live, the Touch, the One. It's all the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here, and then we're going to copy the sequence, and then we're going to name this hook. So I'm going to call this HK1. Do it. Okay, so now we have the hook. So now as you see, next sequence, sequence 2, it is now the hook. So now we're going to go back in here and we're going to do this hook 2. Okay, so we have that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from hook 2 to the next sequence. Is going to be verse. So we can call this verse 1. I'm going to do 12 bar verses. Let's do that. Let's copy that sequence. As you can see, we're going to go from verse 1, and then we're going to go over to verse 2. And it's just copying all the sequences in order. So that's why you see verse 1. Now we're going to go to verse 2. And then from verse 2, we're going to copy that sequence to sequence 6. And then we'll go to verse 3. And press do it. Now we have 6 sequences, and if we go through each one of the sequences, you have verse 3, verse 2, verse 1, hook 2, hook 1, and then intro. Now from here, we can go through and we can mute out the stuff that we don't like, and we can edit everything in each sequence. So now in the intro, what we're going to do is we're going to take out that little lead pad or whatever I put in there, and probably gonna take out the bass. So let's do that. So we took out the bass, the kick, and the lead for the intro. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the first hook, which we're going to leave everything in. So these are all the sounds. All right, for our next hook, we're going to take out, just for speedy purposes, we're going to take out the bass and the kick. So all right, now from here, we're going to go to verse 1. We're going to take out the little lead pad, whatever I had in there, and we're going to take out the kick. And you can name all of these tracks. So you can name all of the tracks. You can name all of the sequences so you'll know what you have in there. I'll say that's verse 1. Okay, so now for verse 2, what we're going to do is we're going to put the kick back in. So now we have the kick in. And then for verse 3, we are going to take the bass and kick back out. So pretty much that is our sequence. So now what do we do now? We go back to main. We have all of our sequences done. What we're going to do is we can go to menu and then go into song mode. Once we go into song mode, then what we can do on the actual hardware is we can actually just press record, and then each one of these pads represents a sequence. As you can see, this one says intro, hook, hook 2, V1, V2, V3. So when you hit the pad, intro goes in, hook 1, hook 2, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3. Done. So then we're going to do another hook, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and then we'll do the last hook. And then basically that is done. Now on the MPC software, all you got to do is just click on it, and then you can drag it in there or however you want to do it, but it's super easy to do it in there. But I think it's much easier to do it inside of here. It's way easier to do it in here. So now that we have that done, we press play. Alright, there it is. As you can see, it is very easy to sequence inside of the MpcX 1 Live. All of them. They're all the same. There's just some are bigger and some are smaller. It's all the same. If you guys want to check out the beat I made, I went ahead and switched a few things up. Just really kind of like the chorus lead thing because I didn't like how that sounded. But I pretty much kept everything the same. But if you want to check it out, wait till the end of the video and you'll be able to hear the whole beat in its entirety. But I hope you guys learned something from this, and I hope this will help you guys in your workflow. And like I always say, peace out.